Today is the big day, friends. I don't know how many of you have asked and requested, can you film a manga collection video? Today is that day. Happy Friday, friends! I am so nervously excited about this video. It has been close to 2 years, I think, since I have filmed a manga collection video. I'll leave a link here if you'd like to check it out. It was so long ago, I didn't remember how much manga I had at that time. I meant to check, but I totally forgot because I totally confess I was so curious about the demographics that I had on my shelf. This sounds so nerdy, but I really wanted to be able to say that over half of my collection was shoujo manga because shoujo has just been something I have just fell deep into the hole of just absolutely loving and wanting more and more. When I see that the manga that I'm ordering, it's usually majority shoujo with a little bit of shonen thrown in and a little bit of josei and seinen. So I did a spreadsheet probably about 2 weeks ago and I went through my entire collection and I was like, and I will say, I do know, guys, that there are easier ways to like see how much manga is in your collection. But it was really important to me to be able to know and say with confidence about what the demographics were on my shelf. So I went through all of them. It was such a blast. It was long, but it was a lot of fun. And so this morning I was actually making a little bit of a pie chart so I could share it with you guys so you guys could see. Let's go ahead and start off with all of the little shiny things, and then I will dive into the manga on my shelf. Again, I don't know how many manga I had when I did my very first manga collection video, but as of filming this video, I have 430 titles on my shelf. That does not include my husband's collection, which is actually to whatever side this is on my video. That also does not include my box sets, which are way at the top. They're more my husband's than mine, and I was like, I'm not going to include them just to beef up my number because that would definitely bring me over 500. I just didn't feel right about that. So for my personal collection, I have 430 titles. And oh my goodness, are you ready to see the breakdown of like all of the manga? So let's go ahead. I will share the slide or the image here. As you guys can see, with that dark pink, shoujo manga makes up more than half of my collection, coming in with 71.2% of my manga collection is shoujo, which was so exciting. I cannot get enough of that percentage, guys. It makes me so very happy. I have 306 shoujo manga titles specifically. Moving on to josei, I have 34 titles, bringing in at 7.9%. I was not surprised by this number at all because I really struggle trying to find josei that I enjoy. I find more often than not it's a little bit too spicy for me, so I tend to not go for many josei titles. Now, I will say, Gap Papa, yes. Oh my goodness, I am ready for that. That was in my most anticipated shoujo and josei titles for this upcoming year. It is probably literally in my top 3 most anticipated titles. Oh my goodness, I need it in my hands. Moving on to the next demographic was shonen. Do not get intimidated, do not get deceived, I should say, by this number. I have 62 shonen titles, making up 14.4% of my collection. Guys, Haikyuu is carrying the shonen manga here. When I think I did the breakdown, if I was to not include any Haikyuu volumes at all, I would only have a total of 17 shonen titles on my shelf. So honestly, shonen manga, the Haikyuu manga is carrying the shonen demographic on my bookcases because I just don't read as much shonen as I thought. And I guess it's not too surprising because I have noticed, like, since I began my manga and anime journey, I am very drawn to shonen anime, but I'm very drawn to shoujo manga. I typically, if I am taking in something that's shonen, it's usually going to be anime because that's just, I don't know, I prefer action films rather than romantic films. I don't know why, but I've always been that way. For the next demographic was seinen, and I had only 22 titles. I was also a little bit surprised by this because I have noticed that I am increasingly buying more seinen volumes. So I feel like the next time I do a manga collection video that the seinen number is actually going to go up, and it is 5% of my, or 5.1% of my collection. I did manhwa small because I only have 6 titles. I did it in its own little bracket of the pie chart because I really didn't know what all of the manhwa, like what their demographics would be. I feel like most of them would either be shoujo or josei, but I was like, I don't know which one. So I'm like, I'm just gonna play it safe. We're just gonna do its own little section of the pie chart. So that is my breakdown of the demographics on my shelf. I did not include my art books or my fanzines that I have. I unfortunately don't have my fanzines on my shelf. I have them by my desk so I can look at them anytime I want to when I'm working. But I do have, I believe it was 5 art books is what I have total, which is pretty small. I do have 2 that are pre-ordered right now. I have the Demon Slayer one of the anime, and then I have, of course, the Haikyuu, was it guidebook or something like that? I have the big one. I actually got that last year for my birthday by my husband, the Japanese version. But of course, when I saw that they had English one, I was like, we're getting it because there's an interview with Sensei, and I so desperately want to know what he said in that interview. I was so thankful that Viz put that, or like translated that, published it in English. Like, I cannot wait for it to come out in March. So there is my nerdy facts about like the breakdown on my shelf. Again, it made me really, really excited. I mean, 70% being shoujo, and I definitely know that that number is going to be going up as I guess the year goes on, because there's so many amazing titles that are releasing this year, and it's been really, really hard keeping a budget that the budget that I have and keeping that number the same and not blowing and blasting over the budget. We'll see how the year goes on, because as I think it's like up to May, because I've been mapping out my pre-orders or the books or the manga titles that I want to pre-order every month. It is getting harder and harder. So we'll see what happens as the year goes on. Now, I feel like probably a common question that's asked when people do manga collection videos is, how do you organize your manga? I did film a video last year talking about how I organize my manga. That video still stands true today. I still, after every single time, or at least almost every single time that I film, I would say 9 times out of 10, I always rearrange my bookshelf. For me personally, I find it really boring if I keep all my manga titles the same. I don't like that. I'm like, no, I want all my titles to have a chance to shine and be in the background of my videos. That's why often you will see that the backgrounds in my videos are always different and never the same. And I really appreciate the people that always come and say, man, I like how you change it up. Thank you. I can't tell you how much that means, because yes, it is some work. But again, like I tell my husband, I'm like, it makes me really happy to take the time twice a week or however many times a week and just rearrange them so that their background is different. It really makes me happy. So again, thank you for anyone who's ever commented and told me that, because it makes my day. All right, probably the part that you are looking for and waiting for. I don't know how we're going to do this manga collection video. I asked for tips like a few months ago when I originally had planned to, because I think I was going to film one at the end of December. And then, I don't know, I just felt like there was a lot of things happening in the manga community, and I was just really nervous to film my manga collection video, and I would get blasted for having this title or not having this title. And I was like, you know what? Nobody needs to know, but you guys were so encouraging and kind, especially on Twitter. I made a tweet a long time ago saying how I was worried about it, and I was just totally blown away by the support and the encouragement. They're like, please do it. And even like 2 months later, there have still been people saying, hey, I really hope you do this manga collection video. So this video is definitely for those folks who were just, I said, so kind and supportive and encouraging, saying, hey, I really, really want to see this video. So again, it's for you guys. Very, very excited. We are just going to wing it. I figure what I would do is I would showcase my whole little manga corner that I have, and then we'll just go through the collection and hope for the best. So let's get into it. Okay, this was definitely a lot harder than I expected to get it all in, but that is my manga corner. The 2 white bookshelves or bookcases are mine. This small little section here is all of my husband's manga. Those are my pens, and those are our box sets. I recently just reorganized it, and I absolutely love it. Though my husband joked, he said if there's an earthquake, he said those are gonna fall, and I'm like, well, thankfully where we live, we don't ever get earthquakes, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But that is the whole thing. I really, really love it. Eventually, I am going to get a new white bookcase for this, but since right now we have extra space in the bottom, on all 3 of the bottom here, I'm like, we're not going to worry about it just when the time gets closer. Now, I do want to say, as silly as this is, I have a little Hinata shelf. I have a little part on my bookcase. I absolutely love it because I've always wanted this, and it makes me super, super happy. And also, too, just in case anyone wants to see a close-up, here is the top. I don't really collect many Funko Pops, but I had to get Ace and Scar, and I have Rengoku pre-ordered because, yes, Love Rengoku. So these are just, sorry, I had to like, I don't know, I said sorry, but I had to move my Avatar Funko Pops back there because I was like, I don't know what to do with it. Those are all my pins. That was my happiness. And a quick look at my husband's manga. His is mainly shonen, but if you look back there, Yakuza Fiancé is actually josei. I did not love that, but my husband actually did. He's like, hey, go pre-order volume 2, and so we're waiting on volume 2 to arrive. Thought that was pretty cool. But let's go ahead and start us off. I do apologize in advance if my camera is shaky. I'm hoping to make it through the whole thing. But here is my Magic Knight Ray Earth box set. I love this. I am planning to get this physically in paperback when it releases because I love this series. It's the only Clamp title I've read, but it's amazing. I highly recommend it. Oh my goodness, I love this. So this is a Haikyuu X Reader manga that I bought a long time ago. It's in Japanese, but I love it so much, except for the Yamaguchi one. I hate how they did Yamaguchi wrong in that one. But these are my indie manga. I have Catch Me, Fight Me, Love Me. This is very, very good. I need to do a video review. This one, I can't remember this one's name. Chikara, there we go. Power of God, volumes 1 through 3. This Kenshin profile actually belongs to my husband. I have a Yona of the Dawn art book that I absolutely love. The One Piece Pirate Recipes by Sanji. I have the Shoujo Beat magazines. Huge shout out to Maeve. She gifted them to me, I think 2 years ago for my birthday. I love these. I love these. These are some of my favorite things that I own, to be honest. And I'm so grateful that she sent these to me. This is our One Piece, I don't know, I was supposed to say shrine, but it's not that. It's just, oh my goodness, I love it. My husband and I, we collect the box sets, as I showed earlier, but we both wanted the 3 covers that just continue across, or like the cover continues through the 3. I hope that made sense. And my little clips that I have, they actually broke. I ordered them with a a One Piece planner, but they broke, and I was like, you guys go perfect right there. I actually have my novels, or some of my novels, in, you can't see it, in the back there, because I don't have enough space for my manga and my novels, unfortunately. So let's go on down here. Starting in the back, we have X Yakuza and Stray Kitten, which is very, very cute. Very much enjoyed that. We have Kaiju number 8, volumes 1 through 5. My favorite ongoing shonen manga right now, continues to just be absolutely amazing. It's so hyped every single volume. We have Library Wars, Love and War, volumes 1 through 15. This is the very first manga that I ever read that was purposeful. It is a very, very special place in my heart. Eventually, guys, I promise I will review it on this channel. I don't know when. I don't want to rush reading it because it's very, like I said, very special to me. I love these characters. They are very wonderful, and I cannot wait to reread this series again. Volumes 1 and 2 of No Longer a Heroine, which I gushed in about volume 2 in my reading wrap-up last month. I love this series so much. It is a hot mess, but it's so good. Volume 1 of Anonymous Noise. I actually got this with Meg she's on Instagram. Her username is I am Megs. We got this. I wasn't planning to get this, but I had been reading these series at that time. Really love this. It's a great music story. And there's a lot of things, but it's very good. High School Debut, volumes 1 through 15. These are the omnibus. Oh, sorry guys, Penelope from Villains Are Destined to Die. I just put this standee here, acrylic stand here, because I didn't know where to put it, so I just put it there for right now. But High School Debut, love this series. Maeve sold it to me, and I'm so glad that I bought it from her because I love Haruna and Yo. They're amazing. They're amazing. Yusatoki Rhetoric, this has been a fantastic series. It's a great mystery series. I'm really glad that I picked it up, and I'm loving it, especially Volume 2. Volume 1 of Full Metal Alchemist, the omnibus, Nobody Hate Me, but I sold my hardbacks because when I originally read the series, I read it from my library, and the nostalgia was not the same when I read the hardback, so I was like, I'm just going to get the 3-in-1s because it makes me happier that way. So I said, Nobody Hate Me. I love the series. So glad that I read it for the very first time last summer. I do have a video review up on this channel if you'd like to check it out. One of my buys that was not planned was Blue Giant. I got this during the Right Stuff deal thanks to Professor Otaku putting it on my radar that it was for sale, though mainly Manga is the MVP in promoting and encouraging me to read this series. I'm very, very excited. Miss Miyazen Would Love to Get Closer to You, volumes 1 and 2. This series is so underrated. If you love shonen rom-com that's slow burn, very sweet and wholesome. You must read this. This is a fantastic series. Golden Japanesque, Volumes 1 through 5, a splendid Yokohama romance. I'm so bummed that this is on hiatus. It is a wonderful series. I have deeply loved what I've read. This was in my top 5 favorite reads of last month. Highly recommend. So, so good. The next series is Shortcake Cake, Volumes 1 through 12. Oh my goodness. I filmed a video review of this last year for the 25 Days of Shoujo Manga, and then I had to delete it because I had so many spoilers and I did not feel comfortable sharing all of that. I am hoping to at one point reread this so I can do a video review. This was a very powerful and impactful story, and I was so shocked that it's not your typical shoujo, despite that when you start it, it has the shoujo fluff and it goes into something so much deeper. One of my favorite josei titles is We Swore to Meet in the Next Life, and that's when things got weird. This is a very moving and wholesome 3-volume series. I love it so much. I need to reread it because it's just very sweet, and love how the age gap is addressed and how it's handled. Highly recommend that as well. Another series, this was actually in my top 3 favorite series of last month that I read, is The Fiancé Chosen by the Ring. Shoujo fantasy fluff. Highly recommend. The art is great. I love the characters. Cannot wait for Volume 4. Beastmaster Volumes 1 and 2, which is complete. I got this recommendation from my friend Becca, who had recommended Haikyuu, which I knew if she was recommending, like, since she recommended Haikyuu and then she's recommending this, I knew I was going to love it. I did. I've read this probably 2 or 3 times. A Condition Called Love Volume 1. This was so amazing. The hype is real. Cannot wait for the next volumes. I have Volumes 2 and 3 already in pre-order because I need them right away. Let's move on down back here. Sorry, it's sort of dark. We have The Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World, Volumes 1 through 4. This is the series. I read Volume 1 digitally. I got it through the 7Cs sale when they do the coupon, the surveys every month. And I was like, never again will I not listen to the manga community. And I read it, absolutely loved it. I've been collecting the ongoing volumes. Volume 5 comes out in a few months, and that is when I'm going to catch up on the series and binge read it. I already have it written in my calendar. We are doing a video review because everybody needs to know about this series. The next series is Komomo Confiserie, Volumes 1 through 5. This is very sweet. If you enjoy food manga and you sort of I was going to say revenge stories, but it's not really revenge, but it's the romance is really interesting, I will say, in the first volume, but it's very, very good. Highly recommend it and enjoy it because the food is just absolutely delicious. Volumes 1 through 4, Beasts of Abigail. This surprised me. I really, really, really love this. This is a great read to read around Halloween or just any time, but the characters were fantastic. Very good. One of these series that I bought, I sold a bunch of manga off, and then I went and bought this. I got Volumes 2 and 3 of QQ Sweeper, and then Queen's Quality Volume 1, and then Volumes 3 through 16. I've only technically read up to Volume 3, because I've read QQ Sweeper. I read it first from my library, Volumes 1 through 3, and then I read Volumes 1 through 3 from my library as well. And then I enjoyed it so much that I was like, I need this whole series. Very, very excited to continue it. I don't know when I'm going to continue it, but I'm very, very eager, hoping that we get Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Queen's Quality back in stock because I need them. I have them on backorder at Right Stuff, and thank you very much, Right Stuff, for the back orders. The next series is one that I have not read, but it's Zigzag, and for the ABCs of Shoujo manga that I do on Beneath the Tangles, I'll leave a link up in the corner if you want to check it out. But I knew at one point I'm going to need the letter Z, and this is the only Shoujo manga that starts with the letter Z, so I have Zigzag for those purposes. My Sister the Cat is a seinen manga that is so cute. My 4-year-old inspired me. Very cute, and just a cute story, guys. I don't know what else to say about it except the expressions of the little girl or the little cat, the sister, is so adorable. I do have Volume 2 on pre-order because I'm very curious to see what happens next. Honey Lemon Soda, that was my favorite read of last month. It is so good. There's so many wonderful things I could say about it, but please instead go check out my video review that I posted of that because it's much more concise and has no spoilers. Very, very good. The next one is Haikyuu. This is the gem in my collection. I love Haikyuu so much. I also have, thanks to a friend of mine, I have the Haikyuu, I think it's Let's Haikyuu is the name of it in English. I have this one. I also have the mini art book, which is really good. And then I also have, I can't remember what this is, but I love the cover so much, guys. I love it so much. I was just rereading Haikyuu the other day, and yes, I love it. I can never get rid of it. I don't plan to, but these characters, they have my heart, guys. I've thought more than once, so I'm like, well, if I'm always reading shoujo manga, maybe I should stop sharing about Haikyuu as much. And I'm like, oh no, that makes me want to cry. So you will always get Haikyuu from me because because it's amazing. Everybody should read it. Let's move down to the next shelf over here, and these are like my bigger titles. I mean, I have a little bit of Otoman over here, but I put my bigger ones over here so they're all grouped up together. I have The Masterful Cat is Suppressed Again Today. I got this from my Secret Santa Professor Otaku. Then Mark was super sweet and sent me volume 2. This was a really cute cat series, and I have another cat series, as you can see right next to it. I am a cat barista, I think I said that right, and this is actually coming up for a sponsored video. I'm very, very, very excited for this. Josie, the Tiger and the Fish. I still have not read this yet, but I'm looking forward to reading this because everybody has said it's amazing. My husband watched the movie and said it was fantastic, and he's like, you need to hurry up and read it because we need to talk about it. I have The Boxer Volume 1. This blew my expectations away. Highly recommend if you like sports manga. Well, this is a manhwa. It's fully colored, but man, I need answers, and I need to see that one kid I need to see him get taken down a notch. Quite a few notches, if I'm honest. The next series is The Girl with the Sanpaku Eyes, Volume 1 through 3. I've read a little bit of Volume 1, and it's so sweet. I need Volumes 4 and 5. This series is complete in Japan. It's just taking a long time for it to get completed in English. In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, Volumes 1 and 2, I read Volume 1 digitally a long time ago, and it was so good, and very excited that Kodansha decided to release this series physically. It's a very good one. I read a little bit of Volume 2 yesterday. Oh man, Marg was right. She told me, she's like, it's even better than Volume 1, and facts, guys, it's very, very good. Villains Are Destined to Die, one of the best manhwa that I have read so far, I think, hopefully, but I've never felt so afraid for a heroine in like an otome game kind of story. I really thought she was going to die. Highly recommend. A Sign of Affection, Volumes 1 through 5. Oh my goodness, what needs to be said, guys? We all know this series is absolutely amazing, worth the hype, cannot wait for ongoing volumes. Embrace Your Size, My Own Body Positivity. I absolutely love this. This is the first nonfiction manga I've ever read. I definitely want to read more, so if you have any recommendations, totally let me know. There's one about ADHD that I'm very curious about. I just added to my wish list this morning. Just nonfiction manga is amazing. I'm so thankful for it. My Father is a Unicorn. This is actually the first manga that I ever ordered from Right Stuff. It has a special place in my heart because of that. And also, I just love the story. It's very, very fun. I've read it quite a few times, almost once a year that I read this. Then I have volumes 1 through 11. Yeah, volumes 1 through 11 of Night of the Ice. My friend Pippa had gifted me volume 1, and then I went and bought the rest of the series because our library did not have it. I bought this the same time that I bought Queen's Quality, like after I sold a bunch of manga. This was the other series that I got, and I am so eager to read it. My brain is stuck on it, and I'm just like, hold on, Laura. We got some deadlines for my job that I need to finish first, and then we can read it. I have Haru's Curse, which is technically a 2-in-1. This is amazing. This is by the same mangaka of Yakuza Fiancé. This blew me away. It's very deep, very powerful, very moving. There are, I'd say, some trigger warnings with it, but it's very good and highly recommend it. Of course, volumes 1 through 4, Play It Cool, guys. One of my favorite Josei series ever. I love this series so much. The anime has been absolutely delightful. I still need to read volume 4. I still have not read it, and I don't know why. Every time I go to sit down, I'm like, I should start it. I'm like, I don't know, because I don't want to have to wait for the next volume, but I love this series. This is an automatic pre-order. Anytime I see a new volume, it is my favorite. The Remarried Empress. Yes. Oh man, I love this series so much. I read, I think it was like 100 episodes on Webtoons in 2 days. I've never ever done that before. This is like a political fantasy. It's so good. It's so good. I cannot get enough of this. The Empress, she is queen. I mean, she's the Empress. She is amazing. I love her character, and I just admire her so much. Then we have volumes 1 through 3 of Run Your New Legs. This is a great sports manga. I'm waiting for, I think it ends at volume 5, so I'm waiting for volume 5 to release, and then I'm going to binge read the rest of it because I have read volume 1. I do have a video review on this channel. It was very moving, very good, highly recommend. Then we have Why Raeliana Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion, volumes 1 and 2. This series continues to surprise me. It's an absolute delight to read. Cannot wait for the anime. Have very much enjoyed this. Next up is Perfect World, volumes 1 through 12. I'm very excited to have this. I have read volume 1 a few different times. It was the first manga review I ever did on this channel, and just so many people kept saying how wonderful this series is, so I started collecting it sometime last year. Like, I would just put an order in with each like I put a volume in with each order that I did on Right Stuff. Very happy to have it in my hands. I don't know when I'm going to read this, but I definitely would like to read it at some point. Alice in the Country of Hearts. Yes, volumes 1 through 3, though they're 2-in-1s. I also have Alice in the Country of Hearts, Love, Labyrinth of Thorns, Alice in the Country of Hearts, The Clockmaker's Story. I read this earlier last month, and I originally read it from my library, but then I just love the series so much. I love Alice. I love all the guys. It is a fantastic story, just very engaging and very fun. And so I was like, I want the series for myself, and I got a really good deal for all of these. There were 2 other volumes that I bought from the spin-offs, but I decided to get rid of them because I didn't really love it. And I did talk about that a little bit in my December reading wrap-up, but Alice in the Country of Hearts, the main series, is phenomenal. I'm like, this is one I will come back and reread often because it's just so fun. I have volume 1 of Coffee Moon, which is a seinen. This was so good. It exceeded my expectations. It's a very trippy kind of read, but it's very good. I think Professor Otaku said it's sort of like Groundhog's Day, or like the movie or something, where the day just starts over again and again, and how she breaks out of it and her courage, and the cover's really cool, how she breaks out of it. Well, not say she breaks out of it exactly, but how things unfold is very, very good. Volume 1 of Shonen Note, and it has a, boy soprano. This was so good. This fed my music loving heart so much, especially being in choir for many years in high school. I very much appreciated the story. It was very beautiful, and I love how the music was brought to life. Tokyo Revengers, volumes 1 and 2. Shout out to I It's Dags. She had given me this volume as a gift, and I absolutely enjoyed it a lot. I was supposed to say I absolutely loved it. I don't think I loved it, but I really, really enjoyed it. So much so that I'm like, I need to get volume 2 and 3 from my library to see what happens next because I really enjoyed reading it. Daughter of the Emperor. This was also a gift from my friend Meg when our AC went out last year, and this was such a good volume. I still have not gotten volume 2, but I really enjoyed this one. This is also a manhwa. Then we have volumes 1 through 6 of Wonder Cat Q-chan. This is sort of basically my daughter's manga at this point. She loves this series, and it's very, very cute. I love reading it every once in a while because it just seems to brighten my day at like just the right time, and it's just very, very cute. Like, there's no other word to say except Q-chan is the cutest cat in manga. I absolutely love him. Let's go over to this shelf over here. We have volumes 1 and 2 of My Happy Marriage. We have volumes 1 through 5 from Far Away, and then volumes 8 and 10. I love this series so much. The Izark Inoriko Ultimate Shoujo Ship. Very, very, very much love this series and highly, highly recommend it. Then we have volumes 1 through 15 of Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Shay had talked about this, and then last year for Mother's Day, I asked my husband if I could get the whole series. Here we are. So very good. Cannot wait for the anime. This is a very moving and just very thought-provoking and challenging read in the sense that challenges you as a reader with the issues and the things that come up in this series. I can't wait for more people to watch this and know about it because it deserves more love, more hype. And then I have Otomen volumes 1 through 18. I've read up to volume 5 and I stopped reading and I have not been back. And I'm like, I need to come back because I really enjoyed this. How it talks about the how it flips gender roles on its head has been very refreshing, and it's been a fun and very enjoyable story. And then we have the big one. We have Yona of the Dawn, volumes 1 through 37. Though I'm missing volume 7 and 17. I have them on back order, but they just have not come yet. I'm pretty excited that Yona has almost like a whole shelf by herself. I'm like, we got some Haikyuu vibes that you can just take up a shelf plus extra. Then we have Imakoi, Now I'm in Love, volumes 1 through 4. Very, very much love this shoujo series. I did not love volume 2, but after that, it's been so good. It has been phenomenal. It's a shoujo manga I binge read as soon as it comes in the mail. Moving on to the next shelf, I have Takane and Hana volumes 1 through 18, plus the bonus story that came in with the final volume. This is such a fun series. I'm so excited that we're getting more work by this mangaka. I know it's going to be an absolute delight to read because this was just so funny. I highly recommend. I know it has an age gap, but if you can just focus on the humor and not take itself seriously like the manga says, it is an absolute joy to read. Then we have volume 1 of The Earl and the Fairy. I read this from my library, and then I found a deal for the first volume because I really, really enjoyed this first volume a lot. I do have volumes 2 through 4 on back order because it's just a fun mystery story that has some romance, and really, really enjoyed the first 2 volumes. Then I have volumes 1 through 3 of the manga. I swear I won't bother you again. This series is a delight to read, and I need to read volume 3. Haven't read it yet because I'm like, volume 4 is probably going to take forever to come out. But this is a great series that sort of bends the villainous trope a little bit, because rather than her dying and being reincarnated, she goes back in time. I think it's like a year before her death, and has the second chance to make different decisions, and things never go as like the heroine plans. Moving on to the back shelf over here, I have volumes 1 through 22 of Snow with the Red Hair. This is another series that has a very special place in my heart, even though I've only read up to volume 4. This was the second shoujo manga that I ever read, the very first shoujo fantasy I ever read. So this is like one that even though I'm so far behind, I always pre-order it. If like I can only pre-order like 5 volumes in a month, this series is always one of them. Love Shirayuki and Sen so much, and I really need to get caught up. Then we have the manga of I'm the Villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. I just bought my first pin ever of Prince Claude. Let me see if I can get him out real quick. There he is, and I'm so excited. I read this series like 3 or 4 times last year because it was just so fun. I really, really enjoy it. The anime is very good. I was a little sad how they skipped some parts, but I love the closing song. I listen to it often, but this is a great manga, and I cannot wait for volume 4 because it's supposed to have like some short stories. Then we have volumes 1 through 3 of Rosie and the Labyrinth. Shout out to Maeve, who put this on my radar and recommended it to me. Oh my goodness, this ending was so powerful. It made me really emotional. I love this short little series. In fact, I was just thinking the other day, I was like, I should reread it again because it's very special. I have volume 1 and volume 7 of A Silent Voice. I read this for the very first time last year. My library didn't have volume 7, and I bought volume 1 for the event that I did of reading different manga titles that you had voted on, so that's why it's here. And the like center or the middle of the series is missing. Very powerful story. I have volumes 1 and 2 of Daily Report About My Witch Senpai. If there has been any manga title on my shelf that I've read the most of, it is volume 2 of this series. I have read it literally 5 times. I don't know what it is about this series, but I love it so much. I have volumes 1 and 2 of Flower in a Storm. Yeah, Flower in a Storm. This is a fun little shoujo series. I would say that the first volume is funnier than the second, but I really enjoyed it. I've read it twice. I have volumes 1 and 2 of The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen. I do have volume 3 on pre-order, and I do have a video review planned for, I think, the last Friday of this month, so I won't say any more about that, but I'm looking forward to filming that and sharing my thoughts on this. Going up to the next shelf, we have my Yoko no Ogiri shelf right here, or no, Yoko no Ogiri volumes. We have volumes 1 through 4 of That Wolf Boy Is Mine. I was not going to read this, but my husband saw the first volume, and he's like, that's your kind of manga. He was correct, because I think out of all of these, though I have not finished Those Not So Sweet Boys, I really, really love That Wolf Boy Is Mine. But I also have volumes 1 through 7 of Those Not So Sweet Boys. This was on my TBR series that I wanted to read this year, and I have not gotten around to it yet, but I'm like, there's no rush because her stuff is always so sweet, and I love the heroines in her story. I also have Love in Focus, volumes 1 through 3. I buddy read this with Marg, and it was such a great series, and I've reread it since then, and it's just very, very sweet. I have volume 1 of Become You. This is the same manga of Orange. I love this volume. If there is ever a volume that has like reflected me as a person, it has Become You. I cried reading this, and I am so eager for volume 2. I'm glad that there's, I think, a release date finally, because I need more of it. I really, really love it. I finally bought Orange volume 1 and 2 because I had Orange Future, because when I read this digitally for this volume, I cried because the guy, I can't think of his name, but I was so devastated how he talked down on himself, how he treated himself, and I'm just like, you need more love. So I bought that, and then since volumes 1 and 2 were on sale during the Right Stuff Christmas deal sometime last December, I went ahead and bought these. Now we're going on to the Iosaki Saka titles, and I'm so excited that we are getting her newest work in English because I'm going to be collecting that as it comes out rather than how my current collection is, where I have volumes 1 through 6, and then volumes 10 through 13 of Aoharu Ride, and then volumes 1, 2, 3, and then volume 10 of Strobage, because it's so hard to find Strobage and Aoharu Ride. I've just been sort of slowly collecting the volumes, and I loved this series. It was really, really, really good. Oh my goodness, I just realized, yeah, volume 5's over here, because it's funny, I was like, man, I'm pretty sure, I was like, I'm missing a volume. Yeah, so I have volumes 1 through 3, volume 5, and then volume 10. I have the rest of the series on back order with Right Stuff. Again, I'm just so thankful that they have that option to do that, so Viz can know I want the series, because I love the characters in Strobage, but I love the story of Aoharu Ride. I mean, I love both of them, but that's how I feel when it comes to like which one I like more. And then I know I have this one a little bit weird, but I also finally have all of my love story volumes 1 through 13. Volume 12 finally came back in stock, which was really exciting. This is another series I plan to read this year. I don't know when, but I'm so excited to finally have the entire thing. My husband actually read this series before me and watched the anime. He really, really enjoyed it and said that I would love it. And then for the last big series that I have is Kimi ni Todoke, but I'm missing volumes 6 and 11, but it is back in stock. After 2 years of having those volumes on back order as well as volume 2, they are finally here, and I'm so thankful and relieved because yes, I love this series so much. It is so amazing. The anime is amazing. It's just such a wonderful story, and I never tire of like picking up a random volume and then just sitting down that afternoon and just binge reading it because it's so wonderful. The characters, oh yes, Kimi ni Todoke is a must-read shoujo manga. And that, my friends, is my entire manga collection. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't go too fast. I feel like I went a little bit too fast, even though I didn't mean to. This was a lot of fun, and I'm really thankful for everybody that encouraged me to do it because I really enjoyed it, even though I was sort of worried. I did just remember that I forgot to feature the digital manga titles that I quote-unquote own. So if you're interested in that, totally let me know down below. Also, let me know, were any of your favorite series on my shelf? Are there any series that you're like, Laura, please go check this out, because I do take note of all the recommendations that you guys give. I do have an actual list on my computer, so I'm not just saying that making it up, because there have been plenty of titles I've checked out because you guys have recommended and absolutely loved. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!